Hey guys, today I'm tackling something that I see so often, and maybe you've noticed it too. Everyone's trying to look rich. It's like this pressure we all feel to show off, to have the nicest stuff, the latest gadgets, the designer clothes, all just to look like we've made it. But let's be real here. What good is looking rich if it actually keeps you broke? Now don't get me wrong, we all want nice things. There's nothing wrong with wanting a good life, with enjoying a few luxuries here and there. But here's the problem. Trying to look rich actually does the opposite of what we think it's doing. It doesn't bring happiness, security, or even respect. In fact, it often leaves people stressed out, deep in debt, and feeling empty. Today, I want to break down why trying to look rich can actually be one of the worst things you can do for your future. So let's get into it. And I'll show you exactly why ditching the look rich mindset is one of the smartest moves you can make. First off, while trying to look rich, you become what I like to call fake rich. You're putting up a front, like you have money, but deep down you know the truth. You're spending cash just to look the part, but the bank account isn't matching the lifestyle. Now, you might have the designer clothes, the flashy car, the fancy gadgets, but what's your bank account really saying? Trying to look rich without actually having wealth means you're all image, no substance. It's like an Instagram filter in real life. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's real. True wealth isn't in what people see on the outside, it's in what you've built that lasts. You can fool people, but in the end, you're the one who's left feeling empty if it's all just a show. Imagine blowing all your money on fancy clothes, cars, or vacations just to impress others. That's a recipe for disaster. You end up looking like $1,000,000 on the outside, but secretly stressing about how to pay your rent on the inside. Imagine this. You're driving around in a leased sports car, but you're living paycheck to paycheck. You're posting pics from fancy restaurants, but you're surviving on noodles at home. Sounds exhausting, right? That's because it is. Trying to maintain that facade of wealth is like running on a financial treadmill. You're working hard, but going nowhere. The truth is, real wealth isn't about flashy possessions. It's about financial security and peace of mind. It's about having a solid savings account, investing in your future, and not having to worry about every little expense. And guys, the problem is, fake rich doesn't build wealth. It just builds stress. Which brings me right to the next point. Number 2, trying so hard to look rich limits your financial freedom. True wealth isn't about impressing others, it's about having options and freedom. When you're busy spending on things to keep up appearances, you're basically locking yourself into financial chains. The things you own end up owning you. Real wealth means being able to make choices without money holding you back. But if you're always buying to impress, you're never really free. You end up working just to keep up appearances instead of working towards true freedom. Think about it. When you're so busy trying to look rich, you're actually limiting your options. Every dollar you spend on appearances is a dollar you can't invest in your future. Start a business or travel the world for real this time, not just for Instagram. True financial freedom means having the flexibility to do what you want, when you want, without constantly worrying about money. It's about having options and making choices that align with your values, not with what society dictates as successful. When you're caught up in the cycle of trying to keep up with the Joneses, you become a slave to your possessions. You're constantly chasing after the next big thing, the next status symbol, and it never ends. This constant pressure to maintain a certain image can lead to bad financial decisions, like taking on unnecessary debt or missing out on opportunities that don't fit your image. Number 3, this one's huge. It creates stress. Let me tell you, trying to keep up appearances is stressful. It's like having a full-time job you never signed up for. You're constantly worried about what other people think, whether you're wearing the right brands, driving the right car, or hanging out in the right places. Who needs that kind of pressure? Life's already stressful enough without having to worry if you look rich enough. Imagine this. You finally saved up enough money to buy that designer handbag you've been eyeing. You're excited to show it off, but then you start worrying about scratching it, getting it stolen, or even worse, people thinking it's fake. Suddenly, that bag isn't so enjoyable anymore, is it? Maintaining a rich image is exhausting. You're constantly worried about keeping up the act, buying the next trendy item, or upgrading to whatever's new. All that stress? Totally unnecessary. Real wealth isn't about stress, it's about security. Instead of stressing about appearance, put that energy into building something real. Next point is the comparison game. When you're trying to look rich, it becomes almost automatic to start comparing yourself to others. You'll find yourself constantly checking to see what others have. Maybe it's a nicer car, a bigger house, or the latest tech gadget. You'll think, If they have that, then I should too. This is where the trap begins. Here's the thing. Comparison is a game you can never win. There's always someone out there with more, no matter how much you have. When you focus on trying to keep up, you're just fueling a cycle of endless spending. You're buying things you don't necessarily need, just to feel like you're measuring up, and it becomes a habit that's hard to break. Over time, this comparison cycle can mess with your mindset. Instead of being content with what you have, you start to feel constantly behind, or not enough. You're more focused on competing with others than building a secure, satisfying life for yourself. Real wealth isn't about matching what others have. It's about feeling secure and at peace with your own finances. In the end, you're spending more on things that don't bring real happiness or financial growth, and you're losing out on the freedom and peace that come from being financially independent. The people who truly build wealth focus on their own goals and their own progress, not on what everyone else is doing. Moving on, when you're focused on looking rich, you're likely spending on things like designer clothes, luxury cars, or fancy gadgets, items that lose value over time and don't contribute to building real wealth. Every dollar spent on these status symbols is a dollar you could have invested in something that grows over time and actually makes you richer. Real investments, like stocks, real estate, or even starting a business, are assets that can increase in value and bring you returns. They help build financial security and give you the freedom to make choices without money being a constant worry. When you're pouring your income into things just to look the part, you're missing out on these opportunities to grow your wealth. Imagine if, instead of buying the latest phone or high-end clothes, you invested that money. Even small investments can compound over time and turn into significant wealth. But when you prioritize looking rich over becoming rich, you're essentially putting your money into things that don't bring a return. Investing can feel slower and less glamorous, but it's the path to true wealth. It's about playing the long game, making decisions that benefit you in the future. So rather than spending to keep up appearances, focus on putting your money into things that truly grow your net worth and set you up for a secure future. Number 6, you fall into the trap of consumerism. Here's a big one. When you're trying to look rich, you're constantly buying and upgrading. The latest phone, designer clothes, a fancier car. It's all about accumulating more and more stuff. This mindset, called consumerism, is all about measuring success and happiness by what you own. But here's the problem. Consumerism is an endless cycle. No matter what you buy, there's always something newer, trendier, or flashier right around the corner. The trap is that consumerism keeps you focused on spending instead of saving or investing. You start thinking happiness or status is tied to what you buy, so you keep spending, but it's never enough. Instead of putting money into things that grow your wealth, like investments or savings, you're pouring it into items that lose value quickly. Over time, this keeps you from reaching true financial security and building lasting wealth. And here's the tricky part. Consumerism isn't just about money. It's a mindset that can make you lose sight of what really matters. When you're focused on buying more, you might start valuing things over experiences, relationships, or long-term financial goals. It pulls your attention to short-term satisfaction rather than the big picture. To avoid falling into this trap, shift your focus from spending on things that impress others to investing in things that build your future. Real wealth comes from being financially independent and secure, not from collecting possessions. True wealth isn't about the things you own. It's about the freedom you create by living within your means and making smart financial decisions. Number 7, you lose sight of real value. The more you're focused on labels, brands, and appearances, the less you're tuned into what actually has value. You get used to thinking something is worth it just because it's expensive. But here's the thing. Price doesn't equal value. Real value is something that gives back to you over time, like experiences, skills, or investments, not the latest must-have item. Imagine this. You spend a fortune on a fancy watch, but you never have time to enjoy it because you're always working to afford more expensive things. Or you buy a huge house, but you're always too busy cleaning and maintaining it to actually relax and spend quality time with loved ones. Real value lies in experiences, relationships, personal growth, and making a difference in the world. It's about finding joy in the simple things, appreciating what you have, and living a life that aligns with your values. Number 8. Let's call it what it is. Trying to look rich is a fast way to end up broke. Living above your means leads straight to debt. Think about it. You're swiping your credit card for expensive meals, clothes, and vacations, all while trying to keep up with a lifestyle you can't actually afford. Before you know it, you're drowning in credit card bills, interest rates, and late fees. That financial stress starts to seep into every aspect of your life, affecting your relationships, your mental health, and your overall well-being. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of working to pay off past purchases instead of saving for your future or pursuing your dreams. Debt is like this silent trap that keeps you from moving forward financially. True wealth means no debts weighing you down. Next up, you get stuck in a shallow poverty mindset. When you're focused on just looking rich, you're thinking short-term. You're focusing on stuff instead of building long-term wealth. That's a poverty mindset, thinking about now instead of investing for the future. People who build wealth are thinking years down the line, not just how they look today. Trying to look rich often stems from a scarcity mindset, a belief that there's not enough to go around and that you need to constantly compete for resources. A shallow mindset focuses on appearances over real value. It says, I need to look like I'm rich, instead of, I want to be rich. When you're focused on looks, you're ignoring the habits and strategies that actually lead to wealth. Real wealth doesn't show off. It builds, it grows, it's steady. A poverty mindset is always about the surface, but a wealth mindset digs deep and focuses on what really counts. And last but not least, when you're trying to look rich, you attract the wrong people. Let's be real. If people are only interested in you because of what you have, they're not the kind of people who will be there when times get tough. When you prioritize appearances over substance, you attract people who are also more interested in your perceived wealth than in who you are as a person. These are the friends who only hit you up when they need something, the ones who are always trying to keep up with you, and the ones who disappear the moment your financial situation changes. True friends are there for you through thick and thin, regardless of your financial status. These are the people who will encourage you to pursue your dreams, support you through challenges, and celebrate your successes without envy or judgment. You want people in your life who value you for you, not for the things you have. Genuine friends, real connections. They care about you, not your stuff. But when you're leading with image, you're more likely to attract people who are only interested in that image. And when the image fades, so do they. So guys, let's stop letting social media or society pressure us into looking rich when we could actually be focusing on becoming rich. Build real wealth, invest in your future, and live within your means. Trust me, it feels way better to have real financial security than just a flashy image. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more awesome content. And let me know in the comments, have you ever felt pressured to keep up appearances? Let's chat about it down there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.